All right, right now we're being joined by James O'Keefe, the CEO of Project Veritas, which of course describes itself as the leading practitioner of investigative and undercover journalism, has more than 30 undercover journalists and insiders working across the country. And this week you may have seen we had the story up on Texas Scorecard. New undercover tape from the organization appears to show ballot harvesting, big ballot harvesting operation in San Antonio. James, thank you so much for joining us. And wow, this video, I mean, it's really spread around social media. I've seen it on Twitter, seen a lot of folks talking about it, and it's really unbelievable to actually watch.
Well, thank you. It's a pretty incontrovertible piece of evidence about someone coercing an older person to vote a certain way, giving them gifts. It's a pretty criminal acts caught on tape, and we hope that the Attorney General will be taking action on this there in Texas.
Yeah, and that's what's amazing. When you look at some of these quotes, it's Raquel Rodriguez is the woman, or one of the women shown on this video, offering gifts for completing ballots, going door to door, and even admitting, this is, I think, the interesting part, that what she's doing is illegal. Looking at one of the quotes, she says, "What I do, picking up those ballots when he was with me, that's illegal. I could go to jail. I'm a little apprehensive to tell anybody," as she probably should be. Your question is, you look at her background, I think this is the part that confused a lot of folks. She supposedly presents herself as a consultant or a volunteer for Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, she's a mercenary, I suppose, but she worked for a variety of candidates, including Maura Garza, who is a Republican congressional candidate in San Antonio. Seems to be switching votes for Biden. She says she can get 55,000 votes for $5,000. The tape sort of speaks for itself and what she says. I mean, she says she wouldn't look good in stripes. She means in jail. And she tells our undercover reporter not to tell anybody what she's doing. She also talks about how these various politicians, judges have paid her. Maura Garza paid her $2,500. I spoke with Maura Garza. I confronted him. That video has been released yesterday and this morning, where I called him and talked to him about, is this true? And he kind of gave me a non-denial denial. Another judge returned money. A circuit judge returned the check, printed the check of what she paid him. So this is an individual who has done thousands of illegal ballots, and they say voter fraud doesn't exist. It's not possible. It doesn't happen. This may be the first video of its kind, along with our Minnesota investigation, that shows indeed it does happen. And indeed, what she's saying is that she breaks the law all the time. So it's an open secret there in San Antonio. Just no one has the will or the resources or the ability to publish the story except Project Veritas.
She actually said, once this video came out earlier this week, she put out a statement which said, essentially, she sort of tried to flip the table, said, well, actually, I was investigating them. Do you think that statement holds any water?
I mean, people say a lot of things when they're caught. I mean, we had the guy in Minnesota say that we bribed him to do this. I mean, it's like the analogy I use is, let's say you get a bank robber on tape taking money out of the safe, and the surveillance footage shows them doing that, and you interview the bank robber and they just make up any story imaginable. It's journalistic malpractice for outlets to run with the comment made by the criminal caught on tape, which is exactly what journalists are doing. And Fox 9 local Minnesota ran with that story from Minneapolis, where the ballot harvester had all the ballots, and he said, well, James O'Keefe bribed me to do this, which is absurd. It's an absurd insinuation. In this case, the woman, is on the tape coercing an elderly woman with a gift in order to change her vote. We did not tell her to do that. We were not. The notion that she's investigating us, investigating her is crazy. But what would you expect from someone who is a criminal and who breaks the law all the time? They're going to say whatever they need to say to get themselves out of a tough spot.
You mentioned this earlier. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, after this video was released, says his office is investigating the video, says they were concerned about it. Has the Attorney General's office been in contact with y'all?
Yes.
Okay.
We've been working with them. We've been giving them the raw tapes and materials, and we're currently in touch with them right now and are working through our general counsel to give them any material they need to launch an arrest.
If this happened in Texas, and you mentioned your investigations as well in Minneapolis, how widespread do y'all think this is?
Well, you don't have to be a mathematician to deduce that if we're able to get this in Minneapolis and in Texas, and we run a relatively small-sized organization, how many other places And the problem we have in our country is that both our media and our Federal Bureau of Investigation
Mhm.
is actively interested in news suppression about this topic. So, for example, you have a organization, which I never even heard of this before, but it showed up today. This is in Austin, Texas, something called the Reform Austin right-wing group discredited voter fraud accusations. So I'm going to read from this. Ken Paxton is once again using baseless allegations to support his ill-conceived election integrity unit to sow distrust, said Julian Castro, Texas Right to Vote co-chair. This is a politically motivated attack in coordination with a right-wing group. But again, it's not a Democratic group that we're exposing. It is a bipartisan effort in San Antonio. So you have these entrenched interests, New York Times, USA Today, Media Matters, CNN, that are just interested in just ad hominem nonsense against me, that I'm some type of right-wing discredited disinformation campaign, when you can actually see on the tape the people actually committing the felonies. So we've entered this sort of brave new world where reality doesn't matter anymore. Someone could literally be in a car with hundreds of ballots saying, I'm breaking the law, watch me do it. And the people that we're supposed to trust, that we're told to trust, tell us that that's not real. So I think that's actually going to backfire against these entrenched organizations. And I think that people are going to stop watching CNN, stop believing the New York Times, and they're going to start to come to Project Veritas, because they're going to believe their own lying eyes. That's what it comes down to. That we do have laws in this country against defamation. You can't just say that I'm fake and I'm a fraudster. I will sue you and I will win. And tomorrow we're going to sue the New York Times for defamation, and we'll probably win on summary judgment.
Oh, wow. Wow. So if people want to follow the product here, the process here, where can they go to follow everything Project Veritas is doing?
ProjectVeritas.com, and behind my head, you can see our portal if you want to wear a camera or go undercover.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today, James.
Thanks.